today we have Jennifer's Body, a film that, when it came out, got a lot of criticism for being trash, but now is somewhat of a cult classic. So let's take a look, and I'll give you my opinion on what I thought of this one. So you know the drill. Spoiler alert, I will be talking about events from the movie, specific scenes, and the ending. So if you don't want that spoiled, do not watch this, alright? Good. Okay, let's get into it. So, very first scene, we're introduced to this girl, played by Amanda Seyfried, in what looks like a prison or a psychiatric facility or something like that. And she's pretty aggressive. So, like some woman comes up and says, you know, we need you to eat more food because there's not enough nutrients in just these little Hot Pocket things to sustain you. And she's like, and I think you should fuck off or something like that. And then like hoofs her over a table. And anyway, that little event ends up throwing her in the hole. So she's in there and kind of just stuck in there. And then we cut to our second main of the story, which is Megan Fox's character by the name of Jennifer, to which her body is in the title, referring to, yeah, anyway. So she's in bed, she's looking kind of sickly. We don't learn much from that. Anyway, we get a little voiceover from Amanda, and she basically says, it wasn't always like this. The classic, like, I bet you're wondering how I got here now type intro to a movie, so whatever. Anyway, flashback. So she gives a little bit of a breakdown on their friendship. So her and Jennifer, her character is Anita, but they call her Needy for whatever reason. So she's Needy, and she, oh my god, okay, she's Needy, and Jennifer is Megan Fox. So there you go. Okay, we're good. We're established. Words. So yeah, they're friends. They go back to when they were kids, but they've grown into kind of almost polar opposites. Like a lot of people don't know why they're friends and whatnot. Jennifer is like this popular hot girl cheerleader, typical that kind of person, and Needy is kind of like they're playing her as a nerd essentially, but I don't think she's that nerdy. She's just kind of plain, you know, concentrating on her schoolwork and whatnot. So anyway, that's the shocking difference, right? In high school though, that's a huge difference. So anyway, they're friends despite that, so props to them. Anyway, we also have another sort of main by the name of Chip. So he is Needy's boyfriend. So she has plans to see him tonight, but Jennifer is like, no, come on, you gotta come see this local show. There's like a small band playing. They're from like a couple towns over or whatever, at this dive bar. And she's like, ugh, fine. Anyway, she's, I guess, waiting for her to pick her up at what's his name? I already forgot his name. Holy crap. Chip, thank you. Chip's place, and they're like on the verge of like make-out session time, and she's like, oh, Jennifer's here. How do you know? And she's like, I just know. So they like, I guess they've been such good friends for so long they can just sense each other when they're around or whatever. So that's a thing. Anyway, Chip's like, you gotta stop stealing my girlfriend, damn it. She's like, fuck off. Anyway, there are a couple of lines in this movie that, like, the dialogue is entertaining as hell. That's half the enjoyment of it. I'll read a few of them out later, but anyway, there's she like refers to him as like Jello, as in jealousy, and like your lime green Jello or some stupid thing, and it made me laugh just because of how dumb it was. That was fun. Anyway, they go to this local bar, and it's a dive bar. They have like, you know, it's a hole in the wall with like a sticker toilet and all the classiness there. I'm trying to think if we even had one like that here in Winnipeg. Maybe like the Albert. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So this local band goes on, and they're playing, or before they go on and they're playing, sorry, I should say, Jennifer is flirting with the lead singer. So that's cool, I guess. So she's all kind of flirting, saying, okay, I'll get you some drinks. And as she's about to go get drinks, Needy's kind of like, well, how are you going to get drinks? Like, neither of them are 18, apparently. Or is it 18 in the States? No, it's 21 in the States, right? Holy hell. Anyway, whatever. They're not of age to get alcohol, but she's like, I'll just flash these bad boys here and someone will Someone will get them for me. And she does. She gets these like red, white, and blue shots for like 9/11 or something. She says, I don't know. And she goes and brings it to the barkeep. Oh my god, the lead singer. But before she gets back, Needy is playing like pinball or something. She overhears them basically talking like, yeah, I bet she's a virgin. Good job, buddy, or whatever. And it's like, oh my god. So Needy goes up and tells them off and like, you fucking pieces of shit. Like, that's my best friend, and I heard what you're saying about that, and yeah, it's not happening. And she tells Jennifer, who seems unfazed by it, which is like, okay. So she still goes up and she's all like star-eyed and everything, and it's like, okay, whatever. Anyway, during the set, for whatever reason, a huge fire breaks out, and there's like, it gets out of control really fast. People are on fire, running out, screaming. Pieces of like ceiling fall on this one poor exchange student kid. Or it looks like it anyway, I don't know, whatever. But like lots of people are dying. I think like 8 people died or something. And anyway, as they're sitting outside and the place is burning down, like Jennifer is shaken. She's like, oh my god, like what the hell's going on? And Needy's trying to comfort her and everything, and this dingaling from the band comes over and he starts flexing, trying to pick her up again, and gives her a beer and like has her chug it, and essentially leads her to his van and frigs off. And she's out of it, I guess. I don't know if she's drunk or if she just doesn't care, or she's still in shock and just going along with anything. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. That happens, they take off. So Needy goes home and calls Chip and is like, dude, this is like not good. Like, the place burned down, people like were on fire, and Jennifer is with the band right now, so that's not good, and they're creeps. He's like, okay, well, shit, son. Anyway, we don't know where they went, so obviously they don't know where they went, so it's kind of, you're stuck. You don't really know what to do at that point. But later you find out that the cops found the van, and there was like a dead boy inside the van, and all this kind of stuff. And the next day at school, it's still at night, and she's on the phone with Chip or whatever, and someone knocks on the door or rings the doorbell or whatever, and she goes down and no one's there, and goes back in the house and finishes her call, and all of a sudden, boom, Jennifer's in the house, and she's like covered in blood and like looking really, really not there. She's like, oh my god, are you okay? And she just like grins and rips open the fridge and pulls out like one of those pre-cooked chicken Cornish game hens you can get from Safeway or Sobeys or whatever. Just starts ripping into it and chewing down on that, and then she starts vomiting up a bunch of black like goo that they describe as like, what did they say it was, like oil and like sewing needles or something? Like, it was, I don't know what the hell it was, but it's gross. And then she goes a little bit all psycho and starts shoving Needy into the wall, and like, are you scared? She's like, huh? And walks out. So she's obviously shaken. Next day at school, however, Jennifer comes in, sits down like nothing's wrong. Hey, how's it going? Good. Just, a little worried because of last night or whatever. And then she starts being kind of a bitch and saying, yeah, you're always paranoid about shit. Like, just loosen up, whatever. All right. The teacher comes in and does this whole speech about, like, the tragedy that happened. They lost a bunch of students, and the Spanish teacher, Miss Erickson, was unfortunately one of the victims as well. And Jennifer is just finding it amusing for whatever reason. She even whispers under her breath, like, holy shit, Miss Erickson ate shit or whatever. Like, holy, okay, I didn't know that. Anyway, it's so Needy's obviously, what the fuck, man? Like, a bunch of people just died, you're being disrespectful. Whatever, anyway. Doesn't really matter. Where do we go from there? So, yeah, there's another scene where she's like, or the same scene, I mean, she turns and is like, who gives a shit? Like, get over it. It was like a white trash pig roast or something like that. Which, I guess that's one way to put it. Anyway, she leaves the school, and there's this big jock guy who lost his best friend, and he's like visibly upset, and she decides now's the opportunity to do what she needs to do. So she approaches him and is talking to him and is like, man, you miss your friend, eh? And he's like, yeah. And he's like really upset. She's like, I saw you crying in class. He's like, yeah. And she's like, I actually talked to him at the venue. I might have been one of the last people to talk to him. And he's like, oh fuck, really? She's like, yeah, he was saying that he always thought that you and I would make a good couple. He's like, really? She's like, yeah. So, you know, I'm dealing with a lot of hurt. I'm sure you are too. Just follow me and we'll, you know, have a little distraction, I suppose. So you know what that implies. So they're in the woods and they're making out, and all these animals start like surrounding them and like watching them, and he catches that and he's kind of like, what is, do you see this? And she's like, huh, interesting, okay, well, whatever. Unzips her shirt and they start going at it or whatever, and yeah, she ends up killing him. Yep. He's completely dismembered when they find him. At that point, that one of the teachers finds him. Pieces of him eaten, so that's fun. So it's a cannibalistic. Jennifer's cannibalistic now too. That's double the excitement. So they got like a serial killer, is what they're thinking on site here. There's a couple other people that die. There's who's the other guy? There was like an emo kid or something that was one of Needy's friends, and he had got the balls to ask out Jennifer on a date, and Jennifer shot him down like, no. I mean, what was the line? There was something about like Rocky Horror Picture Show, and she's like, oh, I don't even like boxing movies, and he's like, it's not whatever. He takes off, and Needy's kind of like, yeah, he's a good guy, honestly. Like, she's like, you like him? She's like, yeah, I mean, we're good friends. She's like, okay. Calls out to him, says, you know what, actually, how about you just come to my place tonight and we'll stay in. He's like, okay, cool, sweet. And of course Needy's like, all right, well, that was interesting. So anyway, he is driving around at night looking for this place. It's an area of town with a bunch of deserted buildings, but the light's on, so I guess not all of them are deserted. And that's the address she gave him, but he knocks on the door, no one answers. He climbs through a window and realizes, yeah, it's absolutely just disheveled place, or it's in the process of being builded. Wow. It's in the process of being built. Oh my god. Okay. So, whatever. He calls her out on it. She's like, yeah, oh well, whatever. There's candles lit everywhere and stuff, and he's like, okay, and they start, same thing, you know, making out. Some clothes are falling apart, and she ends up saying something along the lines of, like, she's freaking him out a little bit with, I guess she's getting bitey or whatever, and he's not into it, and she's like, I need you scared, and she like throws him down, and then you see a shadow of her basically biting chunks out of it, and like blood spraying behind like a tarp or something. So this kid's dead. He's absolutely fucking dead. As this is happening, what's her name? Needy gets like has like a dream or a vision or something, and is seeing all these things. It starts with like the big jock guy and her sitting behind him smiling with blood, and then there's like the then she sees like what's going on right now, and she's like, oh my god, and like runs to her car and drives off to try to save this kid. I mean, he's dead, let's be real. Anyway, she's driving into this middle of nowhere area where these places are, and Jennifer suddenly is in the middle of the road. She swerves and stops the car, and Jen jumps on the windshield and starts smashing it, and she's like, what the fuck? She takes off, and she's the hell out of there. So that's fun. What else happens? Oh yeah, and then that's she gets home and she is stressed right out, like, what the hell is going on with my best friend? She climbs into bed, and all of a sudden, hello! Jennifer's in the bed beside, and obviously Needy's freaked the hell out, like, what the fuck? Gets up and like backs up. And Jen's like, what's the issue, man? Like, we always share a bed when we have sleepovers. Like, what's the big deal? And she's like, you killed people. She's like, okay, so here's the thing. Let me tell you exactly what happened that night at the fire. And Needy's kind of like, yeah, please, if you could. Oh, there's also a scene where they like make out briefly, and then like Needy pulls away, and she's like, what the fuck are we doing? You killed people. There we go. So yeah, she's scared, and then like fucking Jennifer kisses her, and I guess maybe Needy is like bisexual or had a crush on her for so long or something or whatever. She just gets into it, and then they flump down on the bed, and it's about to get a little bit crazier, and then she pulls up. She's like, yeah, what the fuck? You like killed people. Anyway, now we're cut off. So Jennifer explains, okay, so this is what happened. So when I went into the van with them, we were driving for quite a while. I don't know where we were going. I don't know where we ended up, but shit, I forgot. There's a little bit of back lore with this too. So they have the town is named after like a waterfall that has a whirlpool at the bottom that scientists have been trying to figure out where it leads, but they've never been able to figure out where the stuff they drop into it ends up. So that's like a mystery. Anyway, they take her to that, I guess thinking, this would be an easy way to dispose of like anything that we need to dispose of. Sorry, I'm giving away too much, even though I already said spoiler warning, but whatever. Anyway, they're talking, and they're like, man, I don't even know she's a virgin, and she's freaking out. She's the first thing she's thinking is like sexual assault is gonna happen. So she's like, no, I literally am a virgin. I don't even know how to sex. Like, trust me, you would probably want someone else. And they're like, okay, sweet, good, awesome. They want the virgin, so that's fun. We find out that it's actually a ritual, a sacrificial ritual that they're doing to Satan to make their band popular. So that's, the story of that. Anyway, they have her tied up by this waterfall, and they do the incantation or whatever. Lo and behold, little known to them, like, she's not a virgin by any means. Like, she even makes a point of saying she's not even a backdoor virgin anymore to Needy at one point earlier in the film. So that's going to probably have some adverse effects on this ritual, right? Yeah, most likely. Anyway, they do the ritual, and they say their little prayer, and they stab her multiple times, and she should be dead, but she's not. She's there. That's interesting. They throw the knife in the whirlpool. There we go. Evidence gone. And she comes to and starts wandering the road. Like, she's doesn't remember what happened after that. Between that and her wandering on the road, just wanting to get to Needy's place. So that's the plan. Anyway, as she's walking down the road, she sees that foreign exchange student wandering down the road from, I guess, the fire or whatever. He escaped. Cool. She's like, oh my god, you survived? It's like, wow, I bet like no one even knows you were alive or anything, eh? Does anyone know if you talked to anyone? He's like, no. It's like, alright, come with me. Anyway, she obviously kills him too, right? So there you go. Poor kid, eh? Comes over from India and trying to do like a foreign exchange student thing and learn, and he gets killed. That's kind of shitty, but them's the breaks. Anyway, that's what happened. She ended up at Needy's place, etc., etc., etc. Then she goes on to explain basically that, yeah, they needed a virgin for their ritual, and she was not a virgin. So I forgot to mention that Needy was doing some occult research and found out that, like, if you do a ritual that requires a virgin or something, like, the demons can stay in the body because it's impure or something. Anyway, that's what she basically confirms. Like, it stayed in me or whatever, and yeah, when I'm full, I'm basically invulnerable. See, check this out. And she like cuts her arm open, and Needy's like, oh my god, what the hell? And she's like healing right in front of her. She's like, wow, okay, wait, full? There you go, cannibal. Anyway, she's freaking out. She tells Jennifer to basically get the fuck out of her house. Like, this is too much. She's like, fine, whatever. Anyway, they don't talk for a while, and it's coming up to like the spring fling or the spring prom or whatever Americans do for the, we just call it a dance, right? Like, whatever, but it's their spring formal or their Sophie Hawkins or whatever kind of dance it is. Anyway, so clearly Needy is paranoid a little bit. She's like, okay, it eats things. This is going to be like an all-you-can-eat buffet. So she's telling Chip, like, listen, you cannot go to this dance, like, for your own safety. He's like, but I, like, got you a corsage and everything. I ordered it, a suit and everything. And she's like, you can't. It's not safe. She tries to explain the whole Jennifer thing. He doesn't buy it because that sounds ridiculous. Yeah, she's a cannibalistic demon. Okay. But, lo and behold, anyway. So she says, listen, I will be at the dance to keep an eye on her, but you cannot go on this dance. Or go to this dance. And he's like, well, that's horseshit. And basically, she breaks up with him for his own safety. So he's pretty crushed. Side note, like, the day before this is when they made love for the first time ever. So he's, like, probably infatuated with her at this point, right? So that's a real rude awakening. It's like, okay, well, we do that, and then you dump me? Cool. Was I, like, not good, or... yeah. Anyway, that's neither here or there. Regardless, he goes to the dance anyway. That's his plan. His mom is like, is she coming here, or are you picking her up? And he's like, yeah, we're gonna meet at the dance. Mom doesn't need to know they broke up, I guess, or whatever. Anyway, he's walking to the dance, and there's Jennifer intercepts him. And she tells him essentially that we got to talk about Needy here for a second. She's not all she seems to be. She was cheating on you with the emo kid. There's a very, very brief scene earlier in the movie where, like, emo kid and her are talking, and Chip is obviously a tiny bit jealous, but she, like, makes it clear that he doesn't have any need to be. But I guess it was in the back of his head, so Jennifer plays on that and says, yeah, they were, like, banging and doing things that you wouldn't even know what it was. That's how, like, perverse they were. And he's like, wow, okay. Fuck. I guess he dodged a bullet with the breakup, right? So anyway, that's when she decides to come on to him and say, like, I always cared about you, and I couldn't say anything because, obviously, right? Anyway, it leads to another, and they end up kissing a little bit, and they go into this, it's like an abandoned swimming pool, an indoor swimming pool or something, and they're sitting on the side of the pool and talking or whatever, and she again goes to kiss him, and he finally pulls away. He's like, yeah, I can't do this, man. Like, we're broken up and everything, but it just doesn't feel right. Like, not this soon. So she's obviously irritated. Like, I guess she's used to guys just, like, falling over backwards for her, right? So this is, like, a first for her. So she shoves him in the pool, jumps in the pool, and starts, like, trying to drown him and strangle him. And at this point, when they were sitting on the edge before, like, kissiness or whatever happened at all, I guess Needy got sort of a vision. So she's rushing to this area, and she gets there and sees her basically biting his neck, and he's not dead, but, like, there's blood on his neck, and she basically jumps her and starts pummeling her and whatever, and Jennifer hovers up, and she's like, she can fucking fly? And she's like, it's just hovering, it's not even that impressive. So we get kind of like a catty little back and forth girl argument where Needy's just ripping her apart for being, like, shallow and, not just jealous of everything and insecure and shit like that, and calling her out. And it's probably true, to be fair. But anyway, Jennifer's had enough and she lunges, but buddy boy Chip has, like, a pole or something that she gets impaled on or something. And so that's fun. She's not dead, though, but that stops her in her tracks for sure. And she looks and pulls herself out and takes the hell off, I guess, to go heal or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, that happens. What happens then, too? Oh, yeah, so that she takes off, and then Needy's holding Chip, and Chip is not looking good. Let's be real, he ain't making it today, and he knows it, too. And he's like, man, just wanted to say, like, the aisle wise, throws out there and says, hey, you look damn hot in that dress. And she's like, what does she say? Okay, he's like, you totally look hot in that dress. And she's like, you're clearly delusional. And then he, like, dies, and she's fucking devastated, right? Like, she did love the guy, and they did break up, but it was literally to save him. Obviously, she had every intention of repairing that shit, but, whatever. It is what it is, right? He dead now. So she's furious. So we cut to Jennifer sitting in her bed. The exact scene from the beginning of the movie, by the way. So she hasn't fed, so she's looking a little bit sickly. And all of a sudden, through the window, smash! There is Needy with a fucking box cutter. jumps on her bed and starts beating the shit out of her. And she's like, you know what this does? It's for cutting boxes. It's like, well, yeah. She's like, okay, do you do all your murder weapon shopping at Home Depot? You're such a friggin', I can't remember what she said, a tomboy or something like that. Or a lesbian or something. It's the 90s, so they said something like that. I don't remember what it was. Anyway, fight. Then they have a little air fight because she levitates and they're flipping around and whatnot. And eventually, what does her in, I guess, is Needy sees their little BFF necklace and rips it off. And I guess that kind of like puts things into perspective or catches her off guard or shocks her or something. And she stops levitating and falls down onto the bed. And Needy takes the box cutter and right in her heart. And I think her last words are, my tit. So that happens. Jen's dead. And then the mom walks in, Jennifer's mom, and she sees her dead daughter and Needy with blood with like a box cutter. And there you go. She's sent to jail and basically says, yeah, I'm a totally different person now. All that shit like snapped me out of it. I swear now I'm kind of aggressive and whatever. And lo and behold, this is the scene from the beginning of the movie where we first meet her too, like in the hole. So she says, but the thing is, one thing I did learn that not even a lot of occult experts know is if you get bitten by a demon and survive, there's potential you gain some of their powers. And then it zooms up and she's like hovering. So she's got demon powers or whatever. And she breaks out of the prison, rips the window off the wall and jumps down in the yard, tears through the fence and makes her way to the highway, starts hitchhiking, and a car pulls up, and we get a cameo by Lance fucking Henriksen. Awesome. So he's the driver, and he takes her to whatever town that that friggin' band is playing at. So basically, she's like, yeah, I hear they're from out of town or whatever, and they're playing a show, and she says, yeah, their last show or whatever. Anyway, it essentially ends with police photos of like all the band members just killed. So she absolutely destroyed them. And then there's a little clip of security footage of like a crowd of like teenage girl fans running the room all excited, screaming as Needy's walking away from the room, and a couple seconds pass and you just hear them all screaming because obviously they walked in on the bodies. And then there's the end there. So that's the movie essentially. What did I think? So it got shit on a lot, and I don't understand why. It's friggin' funny. Like, it's a comedy horror, I guess, or whatever. The dialogue in some scenes is just ridiculous. Like, I don't know. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Yeah, like a couple of lines I wrote down here. So what were they? There's like, yeah, the lime green jello thing, and then there's one where she's talking about the foreign exchange student, Jennifer is, and she's like, do you think he's circumcised? I always wanted to try sea cucumber. Like, was that necessary? And then there's what else? I don't really remember. I can't read my own writing. But anyway, there's good dialogue that it just adds to the movie so much. Like, it's just genuinely funny, and there are scenes that are genuinely kind of disturbing. Not anything scary or whatever. Like, it's more of a comedy shock film than like an actual legitimate horror movie. But if you're going in there with, you know, not knowing what to expect and reading all the reviews of it being like, you know, maybe like a 5 or, you know, failing entirely, not being good at all, being trash, like, it's a good time. I don't even care. So yeah, that's what I got. What am I gonna rate it? Like I said, I enjoyed it. I might be rating it too high, but I've only seen it twice. The first time I enjoyed it. This time I still enjoy it. So I feel that for myself, I'm going to give it a 7.8. 7.9, let's go. Because yeah, it was fun. Damn it. And I will defend this movie now when I hear people ripping it apart. Just take it for what it actually is, and it's enjoyable as hell. I personally would like to see Anita's Body, a sequel. Let's do it, guys. Come on, we're rebooting all these films. Let's get Amanda Seyfried as a crazy person battling her inner demon or something. I don't know if she's as like vicious as Jennifer was or whatever, because she was bitten. I don't know if it's transferred like a werewolf or what, but I want to know what happens in this story more, and I might be alone on that, but yeah, she kills the band, so their dream of being rock stars was ended. So, oh yeah, lo and behold, Satan did grant them their wish, and they did become super huge rock stars. Douchebag ones, mind you. They released a single for the people in the fire, and they're trying to be heroes, saying, oh, we're going to give 3% of the proceeds to some charity. And it's like, what about the other 97%? Anyway, they got their comeuppance, so it's all good. But yeah, I enjoyed this thoroughly, and I feel that a lot of people that aren't like stick up the ass type people will enjoy it too. But I can understand why some people might not like it, I guess. But like, I just say lighten up. It's fun and stupid. You might not like it to the extent that I do, but it's not a bad movie by any means. And like I said, let's get Anita's Body, goddammit. Let's carry on the story. So that's what I got for you. Should you watch it? Yeah, absolutely you should watch it. It was on, what did I watch it on? Crave, I believe, in Canada. Again, I'm not sure what it is in the States, but locally here it was on Crave. I think it's might be on Shudder too, but I could be wrong about that. But definitely on Crave, so check it out. You will laugh a couple of times for sure. That's all I got. I already went too long, but anyway, watch it. It's fun. Jennifer's Body, better than everyone says it is. Do it.